Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to your mid-year review and your D&D for this evening. It's good to see such a sea of red and a couple of black and yellow shirts, but this is one of those groups that if I ever possibly can, I would always try and make time and address you all whenever I'm invited, because for me, this is Advisors Alliance, a very interesting phenomenon in the industry, not just in Great Eastern. It's an interesting. It's interesting because, as I think many of you have heard me say before, the originators of this agency group, I consider the father of our agency force at Great Eastern. And some of our best performing agents, managers, and directors have spun off as a result. And those of you who are in the group should feel privileged that you get to learn from some of the best in the industry. And because of that, I look out and I see a lot of young faces, which is fantastic, because you represent the future for our organization. And over the last 18 months, we've done a lot. Actually, as I think back, and yesterday we had, I had the group management team at an offsite for a day, and Kassian was part of that offsite. And for the first little bit, we just sort of revisited what we've done in the last 18 months. And let me just recount a few of the highlights for you. This is from management's perspective. First of all, we organized the structure of Great Eastern Life Singapore. Which is why to my right here you have Ben, who is now the Chief Distribution Officer. That didn't exist before. Why is that important is because in the past we used to think in a very siloed fashion. And there's a certain time in a company's history where you need to be siloed for very focused, explicit reasons. But we were at a maturity level where silo just meant inefficiency. And it meant that the management team was not working together to maximize on the potential of the company. And last year, that's what we did. We reorganized the company, which I think is probably one of the most significant moves we made in 2011. But along the way, we did more customer research than we've ever done probably in the history of our company. And that is just to better understand how our customers think about Great Eastern, how they think about insurance, how they think about the priorities. And as a result of that, and also recognizing that Great Eastern has a wonderful 104-year history as of August this year. So that's only a month away. We'll be 104 years old. And we were very trusted. We had a great financial standing. A lot of people knew Great Eastern. But we were also at risk because the brand, although well trusted, which is important, was also viewed to be slower, old-fashioned. Maybe our grandfather's insurance company. And for young people like yourselves, as you even consider joining a company, and certainly your potential clients as you talk to them about our company, we want to instill a sense of pride. We want you to understand our underlying purpose. We want to give you as much as you can possibly leverage on to be as successful as you can. And as a result, we clarified what we stood for. And what we stand for is to be a life company. You all know this. And we have it as a higher purpose, not just to be there when things go wrong, but to help our customers live longer and healthier lives, and better lives. And this is a differentiated proposition in a very commoditized industry. Insurance, whether we like it or not, became a commonplace offer, right? And it wasn't good enough anymore for Great Eastern. So a lot of the investment we've made, a lot of the programs that we've developed, a lot of the advertising we now do, getting onto social media, and I look around at our competition, and some of them are copying us exactly. As 6 months later, they do what we've done, right? And to me, that's a big compliment. Because they recognize that we are re-emerging as the leader in our industry, in our chosen core markets. But also they recognize, I think on some level, that they don't know how to do it themselves. And that is the exciting part, because I think the management team now has got very clear direction. I think you all know our Jevolution program and our Jevolution tree, which allows us to focus on 5 core pillars of growth and focus. We created a special projects group, which allows us to put resources, timelines, and project management discipline towards those significant projects and investments so that we can realize the benefits. Because if you want to do a big project and you do it part-time, it's very hard to make it successful. And Great Eastern was not willing to let those significant opportunities go past and so that we would miss them. So there's been a full range of changes that we've implemented in the last 18 months. And I think it all culminated at the second half kickoff. That I think, who was at the second half kickoff at the Rock? Really? That's it? Put up your hand higher if you were there. Okay, a lot of you were there. And you would have seen, I think, a full range of new initiatives that are being delivered by your management team. And for the first time ever, we are coordinated right across our entire operation. What does that mean? It starts off with our brand and external communication to consumers. It then leads to all the support we're giving you. And some of those tools would come a few months down the road, such as the new EMAS and financial planning tools. But what we have done is to help all of you work through your existing customer lists, prioritize the leads that you should be talking to. We follow that on with decent product offers and incentives, Live Great program, and most importantly, something we've never done ever before, is address the fulfillment process as well, with a simplified and guaranteed issue for certain products and certain customers, right? That is a straight-through conversation that we've never had before. And to me, that is a significant step change in terms of the capabilities of Great Eastern, and is your first pilot of the future in terms of what you can expect. There's a lot of other things we are investing in that will cost us a lot of money investment. But as we've said before, if we see potential in the marketplace, despite a terrible investment environment, and there is no two ways around it, okay? Global macroeconomic situation is challenging, right? But nonetheless, we continue to invest in the company, we continue to invest in our core distribution channel, which is agency. And as a result, when we come out of it, we think we'll be in an even better position to regain our leadership position without question. So my closing comment, sorry, this actually turned out to be longer than I thought. But in closing, if I could reiterate my plea, for lack of a better word, that I also expressed at the kickoff, which is it's really up to all of you now and your colleagues. Okay, it's up to agency to take those tools and make something of it. We can't deliver too much else. We've covered the entire gamut based on our current capabilities. It's all laid out on the table, right? It's up to you to take that, all those tools, and leverage it to the maximum. And I am confident that as long as you stay disciplined and you do those activities that I know your leaders are helping you stay focused on, then you will achieve the best year that you ever had. Okay, and it will do the best that it ever has. And that's just, the start of the hockey stick as we move into 2013. We are right at that point now. And whether we kick into a major hockey stick or whether we level off, which would be a shame, right? But I think the organization is right at that point where you just need to feel the success. Not that you're not successful already, but what I'm saying is leveraging the new tools so that you become even more successful, because there's a lot of differentiation there. Okay. So, I'll close with a quote, since your ultimate leader loves quotes. All right, here's a quote for you from Ram Charan. Okay, I'm going to say it again. You cannot think your way into acting differently. Life doesn't work like that. All right? If companies just thought about things, they'd be talking about it around the table, they'd never do anything. Okay? So we have acted to have Great Eastern think differently, and also for you to think differently. So you need to go act now and prove to yourself that this is a new Great Eastern, it's a new opportunity, and what happened in 2010, 11, irrelevant. All we're talking about is the future now.
So what do you need to do?
That's true, change with action.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, the trait of a good leader is able to speak off the cuff. Okay. Okay, what? I think I need you on the panel. Okay, that's the format about how it's going to work. Okay, because I think it's going to be very difficult to gather these 5 people, okay, together at one time. Okay, so whatever questions you have, right? Okay, of course for Chris, the big picture of whole Great Eastern Life. Okay, for Ben, probably the G Singapore. Okay. Harvard as well. Harvard, what he has done in Harvard Business School, and of course for Dr. Tan, how, I mean, being a David, he managed to slay Goliath. King Wat, in terms of his skills when it comes to
soccer field,
skills on soccer field, and also other things, which is of course selling the universal life policies, and of course our sibling Top NH 2011 going to be Top NH 2012. Yeah. Okay, so any questions? Okay, so we'll just throw it to the floor. Any questions you have, please speak up, mention your name, and address the questions to the particular person in front. Yeah? Henry?
Just learn something from our good CEO, Mr. Bixway. Last week we were going there, pretty agree with them. So next week I'm going to meet Ben Tan to discuss some issue about my office space. So I will try to think of ways how to help you think differently.
That's not a question.
I think Ben gave a very good speech during the IP9 commencement ceremony, right? So can you share with us of what you have picked up in the Harvard experience again to the rest of people who have not here before?
I stand corrected. I didn't go to Harvard to get my MBA. Maybe Chris can consider granting me the opportunity. I just need to correct the myth. I'm not an MBA, but thanks to Chris and company, I have opportunity to to attend a week in Harvard Business School, whereby there's quite 20 conversation at Harvard. And what they did is that every day they arrange 4 professors. I think most of you will stay, you know, business school professor and all this. Every day, 4 sessions a day, whereby you kind of like get the professor in the room and he will share with you his research and studies and books and his experiences. And then of course, in the course, we have people from New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, myself, from government, from private sector, and we kind of share ideas, which I think something that Chuan, always advocate. And I realize it's very powerful because when you gather, business people and guys from the, governments and professors, in a room and talk about stuff, and there's no textbook, there's no presentation. It's purely conversation whereby we sort of pick the brain on this professor. So I spent 5 days there. The topic ranges from leadership to strategies to processes and others. And I would say that there's a lot of learning, but if you have read my Facebook posting, there are some of the highlights I shared. But what really changed me, I must say, is that a lot of case studies about the business icon of the world, like Steve Jobs, even Jamie Dimon. I even went to the room where Jamie Dimon sat. Jamie Dimon is CEO of JP Morgan, who actually claimed that he lost 2 billion and now it's actually 6 billion. So I got interested in him. And apparently the guy who actually lost his job at Barclays was by the name of Diamond. So I'm not too sure whether there's a trend in, but he was a business school graduate. He sat in the same room and I realized that not even if you had the money in the world, you can't even enter Harvard Business School. You have to actually go for interview and selection, etc., etc. But bottom line, one of the key things that I highlight is actually integrity. They taught us to say that in the business world, you cannot survive without integrity. Whether you are a life planner, your advisor, your senior management, the fundamental of all business, surprisingly, of all the research, they show that integrity and ethics tend to be very important. And second thing that I learned, still ingrained in my mind, is the power of culture. No organization can exist, all right, for many years and be successful if there isn't any culture. So like AA, I challenged that a year ago. What is your culture? What defines you? And I think one of the key things I asked in the question when I showed to the Facebook is that why do you matter? If today you're not around, people around you, will they miss you? Does it matter to people whether you're around or not around? That's a fundamental question you got to ask. Well, they ask us the same thing. If today Great Eastern example of this company, it doesn't longer exist, doesn't matter to the people around it. So of course the answer is yes. Then the next question is why, and how can we make ourselves more relevant? And I just want to reiterate that not because Chris is here, but the stuff that he actually initiate and make us do, begin to see a lot of meaning to it. At the mid-year kickoff, you can see that the way we present our materials is going to be different. The way that we present to you, 4 of us sat on stage, is a different style of presenting. You can see that we are a bit awkward because the first time of doing it. But like what Chuan said, change the action.
Really copy you, huh?
Huh?
Really copy you, really.
I was about to say that. and again, I realized that even Kasiang, myself, Colin, Swee Kiang, I confess, we are very awkward on the stage. Not because we don't know our material, but it's the first time we're doing it. So I realized change initially can be quite awkward, but slowly I'm getting used to it and I see people actually emulating it. I'm glad that, although A would have thought of this months ago, seeing people using panel type of presentation is very refreshing. And I do realize that by doing new things, it actually set us thinking differently, and that's what Chris, as a group CEO, make us do. To think differently, to act differently, and to really stay ahead of the curve. I just end by saying this is that, and one thing that he did, again, that influenced me, because first thing that Chris came in last year made us read a book called Zappos. Alright, I profess I'm not a person who likes to read books.
Must summarize.
And I read the book about Tony Hsieh, who is actually the founder of Zappos, and talk about being customer focused, how he transformed a company. But in it, how he started Zappos, how he actually looked at different business model, and actually how he actually created some companies or some company he get bought and start to look at new business model. Likewise for Steve Jobs, actually there's a lot of similarity. Steve Jobs, if you read the book, I'm still reading it, the book on Steve Jobs, and it's a very interesting read. So what I say that Chris started me interested in reading, and now actually I'm on to a couple of books already. And one of the things that Steve Jobs actually did, again in all the story that he has, is that the iPhone, I think Mike talked about it just now. And interestingly, in the Harvard School, they talk about Steve Jobs, how he actually did it differently for Bill Gates. Because he wanted to create a phone, alright, and when he created iPhone, his difficulty or decision was he charge a lot of people on the apps that are going to load onto the iPhone. And the decision that he made was to make the app very cheap. That's why you have $1.99 apps in your iPhone. You know why you do that? You know why you do that? He wants to make sure that the iPhone become an incubator or the space, alright, for people to load apps real cheap, so much so that he can charge you exorbitant price on the iPhone. So he make the software very cheap, but he make the hardware very expensive and make tons of money out of it. So from that, we gather that actually at the end, even like for insurance, the concept of bundling, you know, not just to sell one term and or one SHP as singing with the but in order to make your business profitable, one of the concepts you can learn from iPhone is that don't just sell one product. Become an iPhone that people cannot live without. The service you provided, alright, the effort you put in sometimes can be deemed as very low economic value. But in return, when you become so important to your client, like the iPhone, the client will not able to live without you, and then you can say you matter to your client. Alright, so that is just some of the learning I had. To really articulate that will take me probably a couple of hours. And I think I will slowly release some of this one by one so I can be invited. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions? Any questions for Chris?
Yeah, for Mr. Chris Wei, how do you think this current Live Great campaign is going to help us to increase our sales?
Actually, I'll run on what Ben was saying just now. If you think about this industry, and traditional insurance companies will focus on two things. They'll focus on product and they'll focus on distribution. And chances are, what they'll do is they'll do a tweak of an existing product and they'll put a campaign around it and they'll give an incentive to agency. And they try and pump sales that way. Here's the problem with that is, and what Ben was using the iPhone to talk about. The other bit of the story to apps and why an iPhone was so revolutionary is if you have a normal phone, the normal phone you cannot customize to the degree that you can customize an iPhone. An iPhone, you download the apps that are important to you. It's your iPhone, right? And actually that's the thing. What Live Great does is it allows you to have a conversation, a meaningful conversation with your customers about the things that really matter to them. So fundamentally, what customers have trouble with, and this is what they were saying in terms of the customer research, is they don't like it when an agent goes to them and positions insurance as the most important thing in their lives. And that everything will be okay once you buy an insurance policy. Because that is simply not true. And if we take such an arrogant stance, you might make one sale, but it backfires on you. The conversation we now facilitate with Live Great is a realization that what's most important to them is actually their family and their health, and then their wealth. Okay? And Live Great allows you to have a conversation that is different to what any other insurance company can offer today. It is a totally integrated program. It's much more than just a loyalty card. Okay? Now, the next generation of Live Great that we're working on is how do we then reward the customer when their health actually gets better. But most naturally, and your customers will know this automatically, right? Is one, the reward is the fact that they got healthier for their family. Two is it's easier for them to buy more product. And a lot of people don't realize that when they don't buy insurance early enough, they actually lose the opportunity to buy it later on in life, when they do have health issues. Okay? So this is how the whole thing ties together, but most fundamentally, without going into too much detail, is each of you have the opportunity to take that program and have a conversation with your customer about how to make their lives better, how to help them live healthier and longer, and weave in that purpose to a conversation about protection. Okay? And why is that powerful? Is nobody else has it. I know for a fact that there's a company spending a lot of time and money trying to do it. Okay? But even what they do will not be the holistic approach that we have already delivered to you. So take advantage of it, and we have had so many inbound inquiries that we know it's a game changer. Okay, so take advantage of it when you can.
Okay, I think it would be better if we go like this, right? So after that, okay, so any questions for Dr. Tan? Or good CEO?
Just one question on this great program. Because I think it's so good for us to be able to promote the program whenever we invite clients. So that our client base may invite them for, for programs organized by the company. But one question here was I spotted at the last roadshow, I think just about 1 month ago, that in the brochures, discounts will be offered if you walk directly from Great Eastern on your home insurance. On your home insurance, so if customers went to log in, I mean, it was clearly printed out the brochures on your home insurance, and the other one was travel. Yeah. So what happens is there are some of us that do not know what percentage. We do total. So at the same time, the clients are going to can also be very useful from time to time. Yeah. So what happens is, at the end of the day, they start to just know the importance of service because they know it's not just a buying policy. Eventually, when it comes to claims, the guy doesn't running around and facilitate, and actually they save a lot of money because those are things for dollars coverage with respect. But the majority do not see that way. So just wanted to address this issue that could the company really look into this aspect of interlinked rate programs providing discount on products in the market. Maybe you all want to be doing that business.
Maybe that the client,
No, it's promotion in the lead rate programs.
right,
It always that you can buy direct on these products. So I know many of us are not selling this product. How about some of us who are actually doing total needs with our small client base, doing anything for the few clients. Few clients is not that we're not productive. We don't need 1,000 clients to earn big dollars. Maybe we just need 300 clients. But we want to do everything.
to look into that, like for example, like recently yesterday we launched a spring term, we are going to embark on a GIO and SIO program. That's probably one typical example how we can actually look at our existing client, how can we actually in a way incentivize them to buy direct from us. You are aware of the GIO and SIO program, right? We select the customer and offer up to 200,000. We just send a letter to them, we say yes, come on, we just they sign on, then we just process the things that we really need to cover you with. These are things that actually we already start doing, and it comes under the new quick program for me also. We were there, we say that what Colin actually had mentioned.
Are you saying that if you service your customer for everything, that under live rate, just to level out the premium, whether they buy direct or not, or do you?
What I'm saying that the company is promoting this, okay, just to be upfront. I would think that based on the majority of my client base, because I have like what I mean is a lot of shop clients. So I would think that many of them are managing themselves pretty well, except for maybe their cost. So what happens is I wouldn't promote the great program to my existing clients because I will have to do our explaining, hey, whether I buy it direct, because it will happen with some. The majority may not care because they just still want it.
So when your
If
client
you
buy
are
direct,
promoting that you can buy direct, you get a special rate.
they can buy direct for us. I mean, so when they buy, your client buys direct from us, which I try to drive is that what happens to you?
What I'm trying to say, is that.
Are you saying that?
I'm saying, I know, and currently you can buy direct because you are promoting. So could we go a bit deeper and explore further? That make this great program, really good, profitable, and promote the company and all that, but without creating any of this conflict, the possibility of a conflict of interest. So now I would consider, hey, should I ask my client to raise the right program? Because my client who is annually having his travel insurance, annual travel insurance, I say 30% of my price. But actually the same client, because he has many other policies with me, but the problem was I'll be doing the running around and processing of trade.
As it is your client buy direct from you exchange.
No, I'm sharing with you. I'm sure you will explore and consider this idea. So I would think that I think upfront I will not only my
No, let's say that it's already in place that here exchange, the client can buy direct from the company, and you also get a cut commission by asking your client to enter the code. So I still can't get what you're trying to say. You're saying that we should allow your client to buy direct from us without going through you.
No. The clients can buy direct without going to us.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Because you need to put the code and all this.
Correct.
And all these other aspects.
So you don't want to sell to your client, you want to come in.
I don't think so. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I think get you, sorry.
I'm trying to say, we look at promoting our Great Life program,
Live Great
our
program.
wellness and everything else, and this. But by not providing discounts by them buying direct, giving the client buy direct does not mean that commission comes to you. Put special codes, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You are asking to allow your client to buy direct from us.
Consider not offering and make a
Not to offer. Yes, I understand. Maybe the thinking mark may not.
Okay, basically what he's trying to say is don't incentivize clients to buy from Great Eastern direct.
So if you
Right? Yeah. Anyway,
Hey, Harvard, no.
Harvard. Okay. Any questions for Dr. Tan? Anyone? Ray?
My name is Ray. Just now the story that you shared, right, was basically how you basically went to become entrepreneur and all those things, right? So being entrepreneur, I'm sure you went through a lot of processes, both mentally and your whole journey. If you were to do it all over again, right, what are the things that you repeat and what are the things that you will, reinvent and then, you will do away? These are two questions. What are the things that you repeat and then what are the things that you will take it out if you were to do it all over?
Ray, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that having come out on my own, I probably got 80% of it correct. So when, even as early as 3-4 years ago, when I felt this burning ambition within there, this dream to start out on my own, I already started to lay the groundwork for it. So one of the things that you do, and you will do this when you progress in your career, you will become, senior director, senior manager, you will have your legions of insurance agents following you, is that you have to take care of people, and leadership is actually very important. In today's world, there's a human resource study that's documented in Harvard Business Journals. And I encourage you to read Harvard Business Journal because you can get it online, you can subscribe to it, it only costs you $200 US per annum. It shows that employees pledge their loyalty to the immediate supervisors or the managers who take care of them. It's not to the company. And this is well documented. The plus points of working for a great brand, that's great, but that is not strong enough to cause an employee to decide whether he wants to stay at a company or whether he wants to leave. the most important factor is who's your immediate supervisor taking care of you. And so leadership comes in. And so when you look at leadership, and Dan can tell you, he came back from Harvard, and Christopher obviously has a lot of it, is a lot of important intangible factors. People don't just follow a manager because he pays them better. Otherwise it becomes a bartering war. They follow him because the manager has qualities that, besides pastoring him, besides mentoring him, besides shepherding him. So some of the people that follow me in this new journey that I'm in right now, they are probably the cream de la cream in our industry. They have followed us, sometimes with a paid increment, sometimes without. But they followed us because they felt that they were joining a winning team. They felt that even if they take a temporary haircut in terms of financial remuneration, it would be better off because their immediate bosses, their immediate supervisors would empower them with skills, increase their market value. And I always talk about increasing your market value. Sometimes it may be worth taking a temporary haircut, financial haircut, so that your market value is enhanced. So one of the things that I just want to encourage you is that you need to build up your own team, and a lot of it includes leadership, and leadership is intangibly tied up with mentoring people. And that's what Chris is doing with his team members, and that's what I do a lot of my time. In fact, I can tell you if I were to distribute my time right now, it's the rule of 1/3. I spend 1/3 of my time managing my investors and prospective investors for our business. And that also includes mergers and acquisitions. And 1/3 of my time doing sales for major projects. And the remaining 1/3 of my time is actually doing mentoring. I only allocate maybe 10% of my time signing off checks and doing boring, mundane admin work. In fact, I scold my FC if she owes me too much paperwork to sign. So I try to delegate that away. So all of you here will be great one day. All of you will be like what? All of you like what? What? Of course there's time. I told you.
That's part of the work.
I do secret training. I wake up at 7 a.m. and train for 90 minutes before I go to work. So I just want to encourage you that, I probably did a bit of that, which is why when I came out, the platform was already laid. I had good, strong managers, good, strong supervisors, people at different levels ready to take on the responsibility. If you ask me, was there anything I would do differently? I think that maybe the problem for me was that I was a doctor for much of my life, then I did an MBA. But I wasn't so savvy with the financial world. So if I had to redo certain things, I would probably have sought more advice from people in the financial markets so that you would negotiate a better deal for in terms of financial. So, which is why I was encouraging you that whatever is continuous improvement, you need to look at yourself, and Harvard Business School talks about this, managing yourself. In fact, there's a column on it, managing yourself. Managing yourself so that in the long term and even the short term you can be successful, and you mustn't be afraid to look at your weaknesses. A lot of us play to our strengths, and we emphasize our strengths. So for example, King Hua would say that he's a great salesman, he keep on pushing his sales, but all of us have weaknesses, and you need to look at those weaknesses and try to rectify those in a very objective manner. You either go for courses that help you upgrade. For example, if public speaking is your base year, go and enroll in a course. Pay $500, pay $1,000, get a consultant to teach you how to speak. Those things are worth investing in. You're investing in your career. You don't look to your manager and beg him to pay for the training. Sponsor yourself. It's worth it. So that was probably one aspect that I thought that I could have done differently. But all other aspects I think I probably got spot on. Partly because I did speak to a lot of friends, and a lot of these friends who have gone through this journey, they gave me a lot of valuable advice. And I took notes, and I literally took notes. So I wrote that down, which is why I always carry a notebook. I took notes, and I made sure that I followed through on every single item that I made down. So being detailed is actually very important. So I just want to encourage all of you. Attention to detail is very important. General Colin Powell did say that, he was the ex-chief of the US Army, and he rose through the ranks as a corporal to the highest position in the US Army. And one of the things that he was very strong in is that his attention to detail. And he could tell whether the war was already won before the war started, because he could go down to the ground, he could talk to the privates and the corporals, and he could size up what their psyche was and what was the preparation for war. So much so that before he even entered war, he knew what his chances of winning was. So that's probably some of the things I can share with you.
To add one more, what the quality that you select in
I tend to choose people who have the right attitude more than competence. I remember even in medical school, I was very well liked by a professor, and he said this to me. In fact, I almost became a specialist even in Singapore General Hospital. And he's still today around, he's chairman of medical board in Singapore General. He said this to me, and it's not being sarcastic, but he said this very seriously. He said, it's okay if you're stupid, because we can give you knowledge, but we can't change you if you've got a bad attitude. If you've got a bad attitude, I can't cure that. And so, I found that to be true even in my life. We didn't mind all those years, even when in the previous organization, even when I was mentoring some people. I didn't mind choosing people who had no industry experience. And these were people who made crossover switches. So I had sales staff, even now, even previously, who had no healthcare experience. But they had a great attitude. They had a go-get-em attitude, the sky's the limit, I can do all things, nothing's impossible. I love those type of people because I don't mind, because I can mentor them, and they learn very fast. And it's better to have these people in a team, positive people, people who want it, who got fire in the belly, rather than to have people who are negative and they would have 100 excuses for why they're failing. I've even met people who already gave me an excuse why they failed even before the project started. And those are people that I will show them the door very quickly. So that is probably the most important thing that you'll probably have. And you must remember one thing, which is that if you can outdo what your competitor is doing, you probably have won even before the game started. And so for the competitor, even before the football